and welcome to this Imperial Alumni Mentoring Scheme induction video for mentors. Before we go through this short video, I just want to say thank you very much for volunteering to be part of the scheme to help present students. This is the 5th year that we've run the scheme, and the amount of feedback we've had from previous students on how useful they've found tapping into the knowledge and insight of our alumni is incredible to hear. So thank you very much, and we look forward to another great scheme this year. And the 4 things we're going to talk about in this video are mentoring. So a lot of people watching this video will be experienced mentors. They'll know what to expect. You may have mentored within the workplace or either formally or informally in other parts of your life. But for those who haven't, and just so that you know where we are coming from with regards to mentoring, I'm going to give you a brief introduction on how we see it, as well as an overview of the alumni mentoring scheme. There have been a few changes this year to what we are trying to do with the scheme and what we hope students can get out of it. So I want to tap into that, and also the change in timings. So the timelines, students are likely to come to you with regard to specific things as the scheme progresses. And lastly, I'm going to talk a little bit about mentoring pathway. This is an additional thing for the students to do alongside their interactions with yourselves. And I'm going to talk to you about what that is and how that works. But first of all, just to introduce the rest of the team, I'm obviously Mark Allen on the left there. Rhiannon and Norma are both placement and internship advisors within the career service. And if you have any problems or have any queries or just want to contact us for any reason, then please use the email address at the bottom of this slide, mentoring@imperial.ac.uk, and one of us will get back to you as soon as we can. So with regard to the first point, what mentoring is to us, this quote is very useful from our perspective. Mentoring can be defined as helping and supporting people to manage their own learning in order to maximize their potential, develop their skills, improve their performance, and become the person they want to be. So different mentoring schemes often have a theme or an aim of different sorts. Ours this year, we've put a particular emphasis on employability. And what that means is, for those of you who may or may not be aware or just interested, our employability is the skills, experiences, and insight and attitudes needed in order to be successful in a job. So it's kind of the additional things on top of the technical knowledge and skills the students get from their course. And so we're hoping you're going to be able to assist our students with working out how they can further develop their insight into whether it be the sector that you work in, the sort of role you're doing, or just giving them feedback on or advice around the recruitment processes. One thing that's really important, and perhaps how mentoring varies against other elements of advice and guidance or coaching, is that the agenda is purely set by the mentee. So they are leading this process, they're leading the sessions in many ways. They should, whenever you, depending on how you decide to interact with them, whether that be by Zoom or Skype or phone or email, ultimately they will be the ones who instigate that, and they will bring with them some ideas or things that they want to talk to you about. So the agenda is set by the mentee, but we do hope that you are able to provide a reflective and confidential space for them to discuss, because a lot of these students will be talking about things that are very personal to them. But in order that they're able to feel comfortable to do so, and you can assist them with their career and personal development, possibly offering your advice and insight. And occasionally a student may come with some ideas that they haven't quite worked through, and we're hoping you'll be able to kind of clarify any misconceptions they may have and help them gain a more accurate perspective of what's the case when it comes to recruitment and the work that you do and the industry you work in from an impartial perspective. And a couple of key things which you will know about already, I would imagine, but mentoring is certainly not giving them all the solutions they need. They're not coming to you to get you to do the work for them as some sort of person with infinite knowledge, a kind of guru who knows absolutely everything that there is to know with regard to their potential career prospects and this kind of thing. We're just looking for you to give advice and guidance and your insight. And certainly that's is worth bearing in mind, that particularly at this moment where obviously with the pandemic, we're all working remotely and the students are studying remotely, and there are increased sort of stress levels and tensions, and from our experience, we're finding that more and more students are sort of disclosing mental health issues and anxiety issues and this sort of thing. But that's ultimately not what you should be having to deal with if they suddenly start talking about those kind of things. So if we're not expecting any kind of sort of therapy or counselling from your perspective, if you feel that any part of the interaction is uncomfortable or going beyond what is expected of you, then please do pass them on to us or contact us directly, and we will ensure the student gets put in contact with the relevant support services here at Imperial. Earlier, it's the mentee's role to lead the mentorship and to take the initiative to organize interactions with you, to attend those, be enthusiastic, and to define their own goals, and also to listen to what you say. So Imperial students are great anyway, but they've also been told that this is the way to act, and those are our expectations, and that they are being open to challenge should you feel that you need to challenge any of their ideas or thoughts or opinions with regard to the recruitment process and with regard to the working world. As mentioned before, it's up to you as a mentor to ask them questions and to do that challenging, but also just to act as a sounding board with their concerns or thoughts or questions, really, and offer your own insight. And when it comes to the actual, most mentoring partnerships or relationships tend to have a natural sort of cycle, if you like, and here is a diagram showing that, where the early stages 1 and 2, the building rapport and contracting stages, are obviously when you first meet your mentor, if it's somebody, more generally, if it's somebody you've never met before. And certainly this week, the students will be getting your contact details, and they will be given 7 days from Friday this week to contact you and instigate that initial interaction with you. And we would expect, obviously, that first session probably to be a bit not any less formal as such or any more formal, but more about just finding out about each other, building a bit of a rapport, and it's your opportunity to sort of contract with them as to what they can expect from you. So when they can contact you, you may not want to be phoned at 3 a.m. Perhaps you want it all organizing of any discussions to be via email, and that's great. Just that's when you would establish that those kind of norms of your relationship. And then as over the next few months, direction setting, which may be very much in line with the recruitment process, such as in autumn, it could be to do with giving advice on applications or CVs or finding companies that may interest them, something like that. And then as the months progress towards the end of the scheme, so sort of April, May, the scheme is probably naturally going to come to or slow down and come to a stop. Some mentors stay in contact with their students, with their mentees beyond the scheme, and that's obviously fine by us. But obviously, as in terms of being officially part of the scheme, that will end after those 5 months. So with regard to our scheme in particular, as mentioned, May 2021 is when it will finish, and we're in November 2020. And as mentioned, it's an employee scheme that runs alongside the recruitment cycle. As you'll probably know from when you applied to be on this scheme, we ask for a minimum of 5 points of engagement from you, but that can be however it works for you. Either at the moment with the pandemic, is almost certainly going to be either via a video call or email conversations or good old-fashioned telephone. To give you some idea of some of the feedback that mentees have given us on their positive experiences working with alumni on this scheme, Here's a few quotes. I won't read them out to you. I'll let you read them. But I just think that it's so valuable, the insight they gain from you, and we very much appreciate it. And to reiterate, the sort of topics you may be asked about obviously might replicate the stage that they're at in the recruitment process, or it might be more about finding out about roles that may interest them. It could be anything, but these are the common things that students tell us that they work with their mentors. So your experience is the key one, and I think they find that particular insight the most useful, actually. But also information on job hunting, how they could develop themselves, their own personal development, whether that be on top of their course through extracurriculars, work experience, or even insight into professional bodies, if that is something that is applicable to your career. Application techniques and feedback, and the expectations, not just of what the industry is like for them, but what industry can expect from them. And yes, just your professional overview. Now, I mentioned at the beginning that there is something called the mentoring pathway. Now, what that is we are asking students on the scheme to roughly about once a month to do a task, which might be a skills audit, a sort of self-audit on what they feel they're good at, what skills they could or feel they could develop more. It could be about what elements of the recruitment process they're comfortable with and where they feel they could develop. It could be about commercial awareness, but we're going to ask them to do a task once a month, which they will do through, you may or may not remember, the mighty Jobs Live online career management tool. And that will help to, first of all, give them some ideas, perhaps on top of what they may already want to talk to you about, some ideas of what they might want to talk to you about at or during your interactions. But also, because it's run through Jobs Live, it allows us to be able to monitor their engagement with the scheme from that perspective. And hopefully there's inevitably some students who, due to having to focus on their course or other issues, they occasionally fall away from engaging with their mentor. But this will allow us to monitor that in quite an active way, and as well as hopefully being useful to the overall mentoring scheme and relationship that they have with you. And there's just a few more diagrams from the pathway, or images from the pathway. So yes, Friday the 13th of November, that's tomorrow as I record this, but that is when they're going to be given your contact details, and so you can expect them to give you a shout over the next week. And again, just to reiterate, I've said it before, but I really mean it. Thank you so much for being part of the Imperial Mentoring Scheme. We very much hope you enjoy engaging with our present students and with the ones who you've been matched with. If you have any problem at any time, then drop us an email at mentoring@imperial.ac.uk.